stories weren't too bad, you know. Got maybe a few chills, but that was about it. They weren't too bad though, but kind of inspired me to maybe tell my own spooky story. But the thing is though, is this kind of spooky story I just kind of made up, kind of in my head. I'm kind of telling this as I go, making up as I go. So there might be some of the story out there, who knows, but if it's kind of crappy quality, that's kind of why. Alright, there's a guy named Randy. He sold some houses. He was a little realtor. The main thing he would do though is he would go out, flip some houses, which is just when you take the house and you make it all nice again and everything and you sell it, you know, and then you sell it later as a profit, get some kind of profit off of it. Well, he saw one day Randy was in the news, you know, kind of looking at some ads and, you know, the internet and whatnot, checking some things out to see if he could find some nice houses to flip, you know, see if anybody would hire him, whatever. Well, he came upon an ad for a man saying that he had inherited this house, and it's been in his family for generations. But mysteriously it said, anytime he's hired a realtor or somebody try to fix it up, no one's ever been able to finish the job. Of course, Randy thought, man, it's a little odd, but just thought, oh well, it's just because they just had, the person who owned the house didn't like it, didn't get along with the neighbors, something happened where he couldn't, afford to keep the house keep fixing it anymore, something like that. So he called up the number for the man to see, where this house was and figure everything out. But Randy admitted something else kind of odd happened. When he called up the man about the house, told him he was inquiring about it to maybe see if he could fix it for him and everything. But something kind of strange actually did happen. All the man said was he gave him he kind of whispered over the phone, gave him the address. But then at the end, Randy went to kind of continue the conversation to see if maybe there's anything specific he wanted done with the house or anything like that. Before he could say anything else, the man on the other end hung up on him. Randy thought, okay, all he gave me his address, but Randy thought, that's all I need, just the address so I know where I'm going. Well, Randy drove there. Place was about only a couple hours from where he was. It's one of those really nice neighborhoods where it wasn't quite gated community, but still a really nice neighborhood, and you definitely have to make really pretty darn good money to afford a house there. The house, as he came in the community, he was kind of, Randy kind of greeted some of the neighbors, around there to try to, get a good reputation going around there so get good relationships with them. That was, I guess, one of his little strategies for trying to make sure the house can, maybe make the house do well later. And also, of course, not get in trouble with the neighbors. Anyways, as he goes to one of the neighbors and has a little conversation with him, and he goes to explain he's doing the house, the man looking kind of confused. What house are you talking about? Ryan explained to him. Oh, gave him the address. The man went silent for about a minute or two. He's like, and the man told him, do you mean the house up there on the hill? Randy said, oh, is it? The person who hired me for this didn't really give me much description of the house. The man went silent again for a moment. He says, yeah, that's the house you're looking for, if that's the address. He's like, but I wouldn't suggest you actually taking this job. Randy looks like confused. He's like, oh, well, and then he just kind of smiled, but, oh, well, yeah, I heard that, people weren't able to complete this job before. But it's probably just small stuff, right? Small reasons why. No big deal. I'm up for a challenge. The man looked at him again. It's not exactly that the house is going to be a challenge, but really, you really should not take this job. Raina looks at him kind of confused again, a little bit. Well, it's not like the house condemned or anything. It's just... Raina looked at the house the man pointed to. Chap sure looks a little dated maybe, not much progress has been made on it. But that's about all. But as Randy looked back to the man kind of looked at him pretty serious now. It's like, it should be condemned. Anytime one of you realtors have come up here and tried to fix that house, within a week you disappear. Something happens and you just disappear. Randy looked at the man confused. What do you mean disappear? You mean they just go back home or something, or I gave up on the project? The man shook his head deeply. Looked back at Randy. No. Can't be. You just disappear. It's almost like you realtors weren't even here in the first place. Randy looked back to the house. Looked back at the man. After a moment, tried just to laugh it off, thinking that the man was just crazy or something, and in those towns they have a crazy man. And just thanked the man for pointing where the house is, and continued to walk down continued back in his car so he could drive down to the house. And as he got back to his car, though, the man even yelled after him, "You're foolish. You shouldn't do this." Manny just nodded it off. Thought the guy was just being crazy, had his own little opinions about the house. There's just some kind of, some kind of crazy story behind the house, rumors, whatever. Maybe he had a problem with the neighbors the neighbors who originally owned the house, whatever. So he decided to leave and go off to the house.